Hello kids, how are you all today? I just hope that you all are watching my videos and liking them. So, have you gone through the chapter Components of Food part 1 and part 2? Now, let's continue with our third and the last part of this chapter. In this part, I will discuss about the remaining two components of food, that is water and the roughage. Apart from these two components, I will also discuss about balanced diet and the deficiency diseases which are caused due to the lack of certain constituents in our food. So let's begin with water. Do you know that 70% of our body mass is water? Yes, that means that water is the most important constituent of our food. So you must be wondering that water, that it constitutes 70% of our body mass, what are the functions of water? These are the functions of water, that it helps in absorption of nutrients from the food. How? So water helps in the breakdown of food so that body can easily absorb the nutrients. It means that it makes the complex food into the simple ones. The second function of water is that it helps in transportation of nutrients throughout the body. The water we drink is absorbed by the intestine and is circulated throughout the body in the form of body fluids like blood. Another important function of water is that it helps in the excretion. Excretion is taking out the waste from our body, and how it happens? It happens in the form of sweat and urine. So, how adequate water intake helps your kidneys to work more efficiently? And we all know that what is the function of kidneys? Yes, kidneys, they are important for filtering out the waste in the form of urination. So they filter out the waste through urination. And less water means less working of kidneys and thus less urination. So this is how water, it helps in the excretion of waste. Now you must be wondering that where does the water in the food comes from? So these are the dietary sources of water. Dietary sources of water means that the sources in our diet from where the water comes. So it is like drinking plain water, fresh fruits and vegetables. We all know that, and we have seen that whenever we cut any vegetable, like take a tomato or grate a carrot or any vegetable, you grate, you cut, you find that some sort of fluid is there. So that is the water. So we can take water in our body through fresh fruits and vegetables, and fluids like milk, juice, soups. These are also the liquid forms, and these also contain the water as well. So this is how we can have water in our diet. The next constituent, next component of food that is very much important is the roughage. Roughage, it is also called as the dietary fibers, and it is mainly found in plants and plant products like fruits and vegetables. In my earlier slides, you must have remembered that I have said that roughage is not digested in the body of the humans. Why? Yes, because the human body does not contain those bacteria which are responsible for the digestion of roughage. Those the roughage, but again, it is the important constituent component of our body that we should have, because they helps in maintaining the healthy digestive system. Now, the different types of roughage. The types of roughage are, these are the soluble roughages and the insoluble roughage. As the name indicates, soluble roughage, these are those roughage that get dissolved in water, and by dissolving in water they forms a gel-like structure in our intestine, and it helps the stool to pass easily. Contain roughages, these are the apples, strawberry, and many more food items are there that have the soluble roughages. Insoluble roughages, they add bulk to our food. Add bulk to our food means that they do not dissolve in water. They attract the water and they swell up. Once they swell up in our intestine, our stomach, it feels like we are full. We don't have any requirement of eating much. Example of insoluble roughages are whole grain, carrot, cabbage, and many more items like that. So, if they are not providing any nutrient to our body, what are the benefits of eating dietary fibers? Why should we have them? So, these are the benefits of having dietary fibers. So, the foremost important function of the roughages is that it regulates the digestion. How it happens? So the insoluble fiber that is present in the food, it passes into the intestine and absorbs water. We have studied it right away. And that undigested fiber, it creates bulk. So the muscles in the intestine can push waste out of our body, and thus it helps in prevention of constipation and diarrhea. So this is how the dietary fibers, they help in the digestion. The second important function of dietary fibers of roughages is that it maintains cholesterol and blood sugar. So when you digest food, the cholesterol that is released by the body gets reabsorbed in the body. But if the soluble fibers are present, then these soluble fibers, they bind to the cholesterol, and through digestion they remove them from the body. This is how it maintains the cholesterol level in the body. Next function of roughages is that it helps in the prevention of disease. It reduces the disease developing capacity of our body. Diseases like cancer, constipation, and diarrhea, they can be prevented. We can take precautions by eating the roughages. And the most important function, that it aids in the weight management, because fiber isn't digested, they does not give us any calories. Next important thing I will discuss in this chapter is the balanced diet. So before discussing balanced diet, let us study about what is diet. What do you mean by diet? The food that we eat every day, it makes up our diet. A food may be rich in one type of component, or it may have many components. For proper growth and development, we should consume all the components, all the nutrients that our body requires in right quantities, that we have studied earlier also. So they should not be too less, or they should not be very high. Such type of diet, it is called as the balanced diet. So a diet containing, as I have mentioned earlier also, that the amount of nutrients to be consumed varies from person to person, age to age. So different factors which are affecting the balanced diet are age of a person. A growing child needs more proteins than an adult. Sex, whether the balanced diet we are taking by males or females, it also depends upon the sex of that person. Males, as obviously they do more physical work, so they need more energy giving food than a female of the same age. The third factor on which the balanced diet depends is the type of work. A laborer needs more carbohydrates and fats than an executive. Can you name one more uh, one more occupation in which this balanced diet depends upon the type of work? Yes, athletes. Athletes, as they are doing more physical work, they need more carbohydrates. So this is how these are the factors that affects the balanced diet. How can we retain nutritional value of food? Retain means how can we maintain the nutritional value of food? So these are the few points which helps us to maintain the nutritional value of food. So always wash fruits and vegetables before peeling and cutting. Why is it so? Because otherwise the important nutrients they get washed away with the water. Do not overcook the food. Sometimes we overcook the food and that destroys the nutritional value of the food. The third method that we can maintain to keep the nutritional value of food is that we should include some raw fruits and vegetables in our diet. Use minimum water for boiling. Why is it so that we should use minimum water for boiling? Because excess of water when thrown out after cooking takes away all the nutrients of the food cooked in it. So that is why we should use minimum water for boiling food. Then do not peel fruits and vegetables whenever necessary, because it may remove the vitamins and minerals present in our diet, in our food. And do not excess wash rice and pulses, because else they will remove vitamins and minerals that are present in them. This is how we can maintain the nutritional value of our food. Now, before discussing the unbalanced diet or the deficiency diseases, let us discuss about the malnutrition. So, what is the function? What do you mean by malnutrition? It is the intake of unbalanced diet. Malnutrition can occur either due to intake of food that is deficient of nutrients, or it can happen by taking wrong proportions of nutrients. And both the ways, whether we are not taking the correct proportions or whether we are eating the food that is deficient, they lead to diseases. So if we are taking the food that is not having the proper nutrients, that leads to undernourishment. And if we are overeating, that leads to overnourishment. And finally, both they lead to some type of disorders. So undernourishment, it leads to deficiency diseases. What are deficiency diseases? Diseases that are caused due to lack of important nutrients in our diet for a long time. So if we are not taking the proper nutrients from a long time, then it may lead to the deficiency diseases. And this deficiency, it can be of carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals, any of the nutrient. If it is missing, then it can lead to the deficiency diseases. Now, before discussing these deficiency diseases, let us, because this deficiency diseases, it's in itself, it is a big topic. So let us discuss about overnourishment. So overnourishment is if we are consuming the nutrients in excess amount. So excess intake of one or more nutrients, it leads to the overnourishment. And what happens when we intake excess of any nutrient? It will lead to the obesity. So accumulation of excess of fats in the body, it leads to the obesity. The person, it becomes unproportionately fat. And how it further affects our body? Obesity, it may lead to the back pain, and it may lead to the heart diseases. So it is very necessary that we should be careful about the amount of the nutrient we are taking. If we are taking excess of these things, then we should increase our physical activity. Like we should start playing outdoor games, we should start playing cricket, tennis, and all these, so that we can burn excess of fat. Now let's discuss about the diseases which are occurring due to the undernourishment. So first of all, it includes the deficiency of carbohydrates. If we are eating food that is lacking the proper amount of carbohydrates that is needed, it may lead to the weakness, or it leads to the loss of stamina. Now, there is a term that is protein energy malnutrition. So it means that what, as the name in itself, it is indicating that the malfunctioning of the protein is happening. So it is a combined term which we are using for the diseases that is occurring due to the deficiency of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Example of this protein energy malnutrition is kwashiorkor and marasmus. Now, deficiency of proteins, it leads to the kwashiorkor. And how can you identify a person who is having kwashiorkor? So, a person who is having a kwashiorkor disease, it is mainly happening in the children. They have the swollen stomach and thin legs, and untimely discoloration of hair also. So these are the symptoms of kwashiorkor, which is a disease which is happening because of the deficiency of proteins. Next disease which is happening because of its deficiency, because of deficiency of proteins, is marasmus. And what are the symptoms of marasmus? That a child, again it is a disease which is happening in the children. The children who is having marasmus, he is having a weak and thin body, and he is having visible ribs. Now, other nutrients are vitamin A, B, and C, D. Because of them, different diseases are taking place. These are vitamin A. A person who is deficient in vitamin A, who is not taking the proper amount of vitamin A, is having disease called night blindness. And what are the symptoms of this? In this, a person, he has a poor vision. Poor vision, that is, he is not able to see properly in poor or dim light. A person who is not having the proper amount of vitamin B1. Remember, we discussed that vitamin B itself is a combination, have different categories: vitamin B1, B2, B3. So we will be discussing three important B complex components. B1, it is its deficiency caused beriberi disease, and in this, the person who is lacking in B1, he has the muscle aches, swollen joints, tiredness, pain in limbs, and muscle aches. A person, he always suffer from these symptoms. Now, if you find a person who is having sore lips means that very dry lips, scaly lips, and itchy and scaling of the skin, inflammation of tongue and lips. So, this is the deficiency of vitamin B2. It causes the retarded growth and skin disease. Now, the person who is not having vitamin B12 properly, deficiency of vitamin B12, it causes anemia. So, what happens in this? That RBCs in blood, red blood cells in our blood, they form at the slower rate. Now, vitamin C, we have studied vitamin C, these are present in the fruits like juicy fruits like grapes, lime, lemon. So, if we are not taking proper vitamin C, then it may lead to scurvy. Scurvy in this disease, a person who is suffering from scurvy, he has the poor healing of wounds and aches and pains in the body, swollen and bleeding gums. Now, vitamin D, we get vitamin D from different milk products, and the natural source of vitamin D is sun. If a person is lacking in vitamin D, he suffers from the disease called rickets. What happens in this? In this, the bones becomes soft and bent. Their legs, they become bow-like, and the chest, it becomes the pigeon chest. Look, this person, this child, he is having the rickets, and thus bones become soft and they bend. So this is how we can identify a child who is having rickets. Now the next table is of the other minerals. So different type of minerals and their disease and symptoms. So iron deficiency of iron, again it causes anemia, and again in this weakness because of the deficiency of red blood cells. An anemic person, he is having the low formation of red blood cells. He always appears to be whitish in color. Now, deficiency of calcium, it leads to tooth decay, weak bones, and how will you identify the person? That tooth will decay and they have the continuous and regular muscle cramps and twitches. Deficiency of iodine, it causes goitre and mental retardation. How will you identify a person? Now, this is the person who is having goitre. The neck, it becomes swollen. So, there is lump or swelling in the neck, and the deficiency of iodine in children, it causes mental retardation. Deficiency of sodium, it causes hyponatremia. So how will you identify again? That regular muscle cramps are there and tiredness and nausea is there. So hyponatremia is the low level of sodium in the blood. Fluorine, we are getting the fluorine from water. So again, dental problem will occur because of the deficiency of the fluorine, tooth decay and holes in the teeth. So these are the different type of nutrients and their diseases which are occurring because of their deficiency, and these are the symptoms. So kids, this is all about the chapter components of food, which I have discussed in 3 parts to make it easier. I hope you all get well understanding of this chapter. Kids, soon I will be uploading chapters and videos for higher classes as well. So for more videos, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to share it with your friends. Thank you for watching, and please do like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you one more time.